Now, Dubai stocks are on their worst losing streak since 2014. The DFM General Index has lost more than 6% over the last 9 sessions. Dragged down by the lender Emirates NBD, plunging amid concerns tied to a deal in Turkey. Let's bring in Arti Chandrasekhan, Shua Capital's VP of Banks and Financial Sector Coverage. Great to see you this morning. So, Dubai, the longest losing streak down for the 9 straight sessions in a row, was the banks what done her in. But this, I think, belies a broader susceptibility. Does it, or is it just about the banks? Differentiate for me.
It is a bit of both, actually. It has not been a great start of the year. We have seen tourism numbers that has actually come down drastically in the first 4 months of the year. Rentals and real estate seems to be softening both in the rental side as well as in the selling price side. Business sentiment is not great. VAT seems to have impacted that as well. CapEx spending is not great and it's not up to the mark. Now, ENBD is one of the main reasons. Of course, that's more towards because of their possibility, or still is there a possibility of the deal with Danish Bank. Now, that's a big question for the market. I guess market is more concerned about, is there a FOL increase in the table or not? Because one of the main reasons why everybody was excited about ANBD's entering into a Turkish market is not because Turkey as such is a great market to enter, because I'm of the opinion, and Shua is of the opinion, fundamentally it's not a great place to go and start your business in. But having said that, the reason why everybody was hanging on with that deal was FOL increase. So is that on the table or not? That is exactly what the market wants clarity about.
The story around UAE banks has been quite a tough one in the last month, and we've put together a best worst performing sort of graphic that shows the losses of Emirates NBD in the vicinity of 11%, 14% to be exact, of the last month. But it's hit some of the other financials as well. Commercial Bank International, they're down 4.1%. Is this a good entry point then, if you think some of this sell-off has been overdone for some of the names that you are liking in this
for the economic side of it, I guess we are very close to the bottom. We have a fiscal stimulus which is coming in, 50 billion from Abu Dhabi side of it, and that should start feeding into the economy as we go into 2019, and that is very important. As far as banks are concerned, you can selectively, it does look attractive, the likes of UNB, ANBD looks attractive provided FOL is still on the table.
Well, we had Jack Meyer in here last week as well, and he would make the point that the gear change with Emirates NBD, yes, is foreign ownership limits, but the second and more important point is if they renegotiate the price, they may not need to do that rights issue, and that is the more significant aspect in re-rating the stock. Would you agree?
Correct, definitely, but the point here is, like, overnight it's very difficult for someone to trigger a clause like an important clause, like an operational thing, you know. Because currency movements are extremely volatile over a few days. It can actually reverse back the gains that it actually lost in the last couple of days. So they need the management needs to monitor the currency movement over a period of time before they can come out and trigger a clause or trigger a clause where they can actually go below the deal that was negotiated before. So I guess we are a bit far away from that.
What about Saudi Arabia? You compare that to the United Arab Emirates. Are you pulling out from some of your recommendations? Has anything changed? Because the sell-off's been intense.
Sell-off has been intense. And despite not having a great exposure to Turkey, that was really surprising from Saudi. Saudi had a vulnerable point. It was at a vulnerable point. Because Tarawul has been on a downward spiral since mid-July, and the valuations were expensive and it was a bit stretched. So obviously the investors found a good option to cash back the gains that they have made.
Many people have sort of said that that was priced to perfection. Very briefly, on that right on the banks, would you be a buyer of them?
Definitely. MSCI story is still the same. The big picture story has not changed. We still like Al Raji, Samba and NCB of the names.
All right, Arti, thank you very much for stopping by. That's Arti Chandrasekhan, Shua Capital's VP of banks and financial sector coverage. Well, it's been a jam-packed show. There's a lot to consider from what happened last week and a lot to digest in terms of what else is coming up this week.
Yeah, look, the lira maybe gets a little bit of a reprieve, but the rest of Europe, of course, will be at work. What do they do? What do they do with those emerging market currencies this week and the bond markets? That's it for this edition of Daybreak Middle East. We're back here next Sunday because, of course, it is Eid
holidays, and that means people are going to be off, taking far off, except us. We'll have special shows lined up for you between now and then. Make sure you don't miss anything. This is Bloomberg.
Party, thank you.